88 episodes, Sarah. Okay? You still don't know how to use a mic stand.
Whatever. Okay.
Welcome back to the Cousin
Connection
Podcast.
Podcast.
Okay, guys? Yeah, what I was saying before this. Oh, yeah, shoot. I'm kind of like coming cold into intro, whatever. But, like, okay, we might be a little low energy today. But, like, honestly, I feel like Ramadan ain't that bad this year. Oh, yeah, this is technically our first episode we're recording, like, during Ramadan.
Oh yeah, last week's was actually the day before or something.
Exactly.
No, a couple days
it was
before.
literally like 3 days before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you're fasting right now, Ramadan Mubarak to everyone out there. And hopefully it's going well for y'all. I know it's only been a few days. Well, by the time I post this, it's going to be a full week.
Yeah.
Or we post this, it's going to be a full week. Yeah, so hopefully everything's going well for you. You know, you're taking advantage. You know, you're taking some of those points I had about suhoor and like how to eat properly and manage your diet. So you're fully satiated throughout the day, so you can focus on your deen and becoming a better Muslim. Okay.
Yeah, and don't forget to hydrate too when you're in the hours of eating.
Yeah.
Hydrate a lot because
exactly. Don't do the whole hydrating like with 2 full bottles like right before you finish suhoor, because if you do that, your body's literally just gonna be like, where's all this water coming from, and just pees it out like right away.
Yeah.
And then you just be dehydrated for the rest of the day.
You just have to like drink a lot of water over the course of the night and early morning, or get some electrolytes or make some at home.
Exactly. Yeah, and I was saying also that like I've been working out during Ramadan as well, and honestly I haven't really felt like a big difference.
See, I wanted to work out, but I got sick. I am sick right now too.
I don't know how did you get sick like right?
You know what? I felt it coming though, because I like, you know when it starts off as a sore throat.
Yeah. And
I was trying every home remedy.
Yeah. To
try and get rid of it. Have you ever heard of bee propolis?
What? It sounds like a rapper or something. What? Okay, bee propolis.
Yeah, I think it's like some sort of like derivative from the. It's not honey, but it kind of tastes like honey. It tastes like honey before it becomes honey. What's that thing called?
Is it made by
like
bees?
Pollen. Yeah, it is.
So it's actually like BEE.
Yeah.
Propolis.
Yeah. And so it's like in a dropper. My mom got it from Costco. I don't know. It says like for sore throats and stuff. Yeah. And she's like,
does it work though?
Yeah, it like soothes, like coats it, I think.
It's like, what's the difference between that and honey?
I don't know.
I feel like honey would have like more benefits. And it was like
maybe, but like I took it every single day, like when I started feeling the sore throat, and it got the best of me. So I'm just like kind of like,
you know what? You just have to like take it head on.
I even started taking
focus on just making sure you have a good diet in the meantime.
You know the vitamin C packets?
Yeah.
Like I started taking that.
Yeah.
Like all the pills you could.
But even I feel like the vitamin C packets are like also like
a gimmick.
Like a gimmick.
Really?
Yeah, because your body, once you have like it's like anything. Once you have the enough vitamins in your body literally just gets rid of it in your urine. That's all it does. That's why a lot of like, you know that guy on YouTube, Dr. Mike. He's always talking about how like he thinks these vitamin pill ads are like super misleading, because they'll say, oh, it's like 150%, 200% of your daily intake, whatever. Like, and he's like, well, you don't need, if it's more than 100%, you don't need all that extra stuff. It's literally just going to come out in your urine. So you're just wasting money on, if you're already getting your vitamins throughout the day, like you don't need something on top of that, right? Unless like you're deficient in something like iron, like some people are. But even that can be remedied usually by just having like extra spinach or whatever. Or I think like other high salmon
liver,
or like other foods that are high in iron.
I would know.
Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of those things, I just feel like if you just have a good diet, you can kind of remedy a lot of those
Not
issues.
everyone could have a well-balanced diet, so that's why they rely on the supplements.
Well, that's what they want you to believe. Everyone can have a well-balanced diet.
You can, but is it always attainable? I don't know.
Yes. It's more attainable than going out and doing all that extra stuff.
You know how expensive groceries are?
Yeah, I don't spend more than $50.
What?
For like a week and a half, something like that. And I've been able to get all my vitamins and everything. I'm telling you guys.
But Amir, you're built different, okay? You eat the same meals every single day.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. Like you said, some people got to make sacrifices, okay? If that's one of the sacrifices, you got to make it. If it means that you're going to have a good diet, you're going to be a well-balanced diet.
I mean, I feel like I hit all my nutrients. I also take multivitamins, so.
See?
The gummy ones are so good.
Ask your doctor. Ask your doctor next time you go and be like,
wait, how do you feel about gummy vitamins?
Yeah. Because I remember, I don't think I've ever taken vitamin pills. Like, my dad's always been fully on me, like, about taking them.
Like fish oil, I remember. That was, like, his thing.
Yeah. and then they were, like, so concerned because I didn't go to the doctor for so many years. They're like, how do you know your diet's working, all that stuff. I went to the doctor, like I mentioned last time. They're like, yeah, you're perfectly fine. All your levels are good.
I feel like you are never going to let them live this down.
I won't. I will mention it. I will continue to mention it. Okay. But, yeah, you know what? Just make sure you're getting your good diet in there, okay? If you have to make certain sacrifices to attain that diet, then just do it, okay? I know it's hard, or it may seem like it's hard, but I feel like doing all that extra stuff is just, in a way, it makes things more complicated than they need to be.
But I feel like the temptation for good food, like for indulging, is a lot higher when you're fasting, right? Because you always want something you can't have, right?
Yeah.
So you always and then like. During Ramadan, people are invited over to other people's house. And, when you have guests, like, you always try to show out as you should. Be generous with your guests.
Yeah.
So imagine you go to someone's house and they have this decadent
I'm not saying you have to 100% of the time, okay?
All right, fine.
Yeah. I remember, everything in moderation. Even moderation, okay?
I mean, I say it too.
Yeah.
But I actually want to just like shift the topic because I'm so excited to talk about this real quick.
Already?
No, about
okay.
I just want to bring it up really quick. Okay, so as you guys know, was it last week? Yeah, last week we went and did painting. Like we went to a pottery shop where the dishes, the items were already made.
Yeah,
they were just like a blank canvas, and so we got to paint them. And we weren't able to show you guys because they were being cured or whatever the term is called. But we got them. Amir got them for us. And I'm so excited to show you guys.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Yeah, for you audio listeners, Sarah just pulled out a mug.
So this is my mug. I feel like I should go up to the camera and like do a closer.
No, you are not messing with my focus. Okay.
You know what? What we'll do is after we're done recording this, I'll do some B-roll shots.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay.
Right,
you know how I mess with the focus here, okay?
This is the mug. Okay, so I was kind of thinking of something more functional, like I'm going to drink the coffee or tea in this at night. And so coffee in the morning, tea at night. Get it? If you guys
by the way, for audio listeners, her mug has half a moon, it has a moon in a crescent form and a sun that it's in front of.
Yeah.
So you got like half and half over each other. Everyone's seen that, like that iconic image of like half the sun, half the moon thing. But and it has a few stars coming out. The weird thing is that the stars are on the side of the sun.
I know.
It should be on the side of the moon.
I also got really lazy.
Yeah, she kind of just like blotched out the stars.
I just took a little paintbrush and did like white dots as stars.
Because there is like on the actual mug itself, there is like a raised part of it that has the image of the sun and the moon. So basically, Sarah just painted that in.
Did you see the blend work?
Well, definitely better than mine. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna let Amir have the spotlight now because honestly.
I don't even think they'll be able to see it from here, okay?
Well, just hold it up. We'll do another shot of
just think of like the salamander from Monsters Inc. But he doesn't have like a long neck. He has like the face of Kirby. Or that gas monster from Pokemon. I forget his name now. Remember the gas one? The one that had a rock and his face was on it? He was one of the ghost type.
Oh, I don't.
Come on, you don't remember that? No. Well, basically, I did that. Okay, and I tried to do the whole, like I mentioned, I tried to do the whole stripe thing, and I thought it didn't work, and it probably won't show up on the video here. But apparently, when they're doing the curing, like certain colors show up a lot more. So now it just looks like it's like 50 Shades of Purple with green, because you can see spots. All the times I messed up. I tried to like repaint over it, but apparently that all came through. So it's just 50 Shades of Purple all over this monster looking thing. I didn't even like paint the feet properly. They're all like the same color. There's a bunch of like, the dots at least came out fine. There's a bunch of green dots on it that turned out pretty okay. So, I'm proud about that.
Yeah.
And I made like a simple face. I didn't even give him like an expression. It's literally just his teeth and his mouth. He kind of looks like the cat from Alice in Wonderland, at least that face. So yeah, that should give you a good visual of what I'm dealing with here. But you know what? It was the first time, You know, I'll cherish this until I make a better one.
When I first saw it, I was like really trying hard to compliment it. He's like, just don't even try.
No. Okay.
It doesn't look that bad though. Like now that I'm like really looking at it.
Yeah, but was that worth 4 hours of work?
I can't believe it took us 4 hours to do this. But yeah, so I was really excited to show you guys.
Yeah, we have the other guys, I guess. Maybe we'll show like a picture of what theirs look like.
We'll do the B-roll.
Technically,
so as we're
they
talking,
saw what it sort of looked like before it was cured out. Yeah, last week I put that in the video. So if you want to see what those look like, then you can check out the video from last week's episode 87.
We'll have like a B-roll shot of all of them here. I'll just record one and you can put it in. But
yeah,
yeah. I mean, okay. So before we get into our episode this week, as you guys know, we are doing the Ramadan series. This is part 2, episode 2. Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I just want to say, don't forget to subscribe. We are so close to 3,000 subscribers if we haven't already hit it. Actually, let me just check now while we're recording. Let me see.
No, we gotta like step up our YouTube game. That's why. Okay.
I know we really do gotta step up our YouTube game. We are so close. We're literally 30 subscribers away from hitting 3,000 subscribers.
Hey, you might get some out of, when it gets to 3,000, something might be coming out. I'm just saying, okay? Well, not coming out, but like, there might be a benefit to you guys, I'm just saying, okay? So
all we're saying is subscribe if you want to hear more from us or watch more from us on our channels. Because one of our topics today is actually the disappearance of TikTok or the potential disappearance. But follow us. I mean, subscribe to our channel. I'm going to let Amir take it away from here.
So in America, basically they're like putting TikTok on the stand and questioning them. And basically they're like threatening to say like, hey, we're going to block you guys. We're going to not delete you guys. What do you call it? Ban you guys from America. And they brought up like the CEO. I think his name's like something Chu. I forget his full name. But he was on the stand in Congress and they're like grilling him. And it actually, first off, that whole grilling session, Shu Zi Chu, that's his name, yeah. But that whole grilling session is now being like, what do you call it, memed by everyone on the internet.
Why?
Because it made everyone realize that Congress has no idea how just the internet works. Like there's literally a question where the guy was asking the CEO of TikTok, he's like, does your app connect to our home Wi-Fi? And the guy, literally the CEO is confused. He's like, yeah, if you connect it to your home network. And he's like, does it use, and then he follows up, he's like, does it use my internet? And he's like, yeah, people need to, that's how these apps work. They need to connect to the internet so we can give them the content. And he was trying to lead to be like, oh, and then I think the next question was like, does your phone or app, I think this was actually a good question, but she should have led with this. He's like, does your app like connect to other devices within the home network and like receive information from them? Right? But like just the line of questioning was so odd, and it definitely showed how Congress has no idea how the internet works or how these apps work at all.
Yeah.
And that put a lot of fear in a lot of the TikTok users because they're like, we're literally going to lose this app because people don't know how apps work or how all of this works. And the main reason they wanted to get rid of the app is because they feel like this information is being shared with the Chinese government, since TikTok is technically a Chinese app. And honestly, that is a legitimate fear that the user's information will be shared with the Chinese government. But the thing is that, first off, all the other apps already do this, like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. They already take all your information and sell it to the highest bidder. So if China wanted to, they could probably buy it from one of them to begin with. But so really, like, if they're going to be grilling TikTok for this, they should be grilling all the apps for this. And they have done that before, but they didn't go to this extent where they're actually saying we're going to ban you guys from the country. So really, this is just more of a political game.
I think they're only doing it because it's a Chinese app.
Yeah.
Or an app that originated from China. I don't know.
Exactly. So it's more political of anything, right? Because China and America are definitely not allies, right? They've always been at head-to-head or at odds. Exactly. So, but what what I kind of took away from this is that, like, let's say TikTok is banned, and first off, people are like, oh, it doesn't matter. So, like, if it's banned in America, like, we're okay because we're in Canada, and people in the UK are okay. But for the most part, like, other countries usually follow suit with what America does.
Yeah.
Because they're like the number one power, or the allies usually stick together, right? So when one country makes a decision, usually the other countries do the same thing, especially if it's America. So we might lose it as well.
Yeah, I mean,
wouldn't be surprised.
I started to notice that a lot of TikTokers are now saying, like, you know, thank you guys so much for all your support.
Yeah.
If we lose this app, please follow me on Instagram. And I'm like,
yeah,
interesting. So all y'all who abandoned Instagram when TikTok became big are now coming back to Instagram.
The only reason they abandoned TikTok is because Instagram is because TikTok did it better, right? So it makes sense that people would leave it because they're gonna give them. First off, you can blow up a lot faster on TikTok.
Yeah.
You get served to a lot more people on TikTok. Like, there are people with millions of followers on Instagram who get like 1,000 likes on their pictures and videos and stuff because TikTok is just not sharing videos like they used to. And
yeah, it's happening to us too.
Yeah, it happens to everyone. I can see it. Like, I'm always looking at analytics,
same.
Right? So you can see that Instagram is like basically killing itself. From how
but I mean, this is a great opportunity for them to now shine. Like, if they were smart and they see what's happening with TikTok.
But what's their incentive? All they have to do, and also, sorry, I forgot to mention this aspect of it, is that the reason that these congressmen are grilling TikTok so much also is because the other social media companies are lobbying on the other end. So they're basically paying these congressmen and giving them like back end deals to go after TikTok because that's their biggest competition, right? So because if they can get rid of their biggest competition, they have no reason to innovate. They have no reason to get better, right? Because if they can just lobby their way into getting the competition to be banned, then like what's the incentive to make yourself better?
Damn.
Right? So that's essentially what's happening there. So Facebook and YouTube are a big part of why this is happening and why this seems to be a legitimate issue now.
Yeah, but like, first of all, I mean, not that we use Facebook like that, but YouTube Shorts, y'all could do better. I know I'm on YouTube saying this, but like, you guys could do better because I feel like definitely. It's so limited in what you can do, and you don't really like have that much creativity. And let's be real, people are just repurposing their videos from other apps. Yeah,
typically TikTok.
Yeah, and so like, I think that's why I'm saying like this is a great opportunity for whether it's Facebook. I don't even know what they're called on Facebook, the short videos, but Reels on Instagram, Shorts on YouTube. Like, this is a great opportunity for them as multi-billion-dollar companies to improve and then now take over as they want to. You can't just because you're trying to buy your way through being the monopoly or whatever it's called. Yeah. People are still going to hate your, like, they're not going to hate it, but they're only using it because they have to. It's not because they genuinely want to.
I feel like everyone's going to move to YouTube, if anything. Because YouTube has both the long form content side of it and it has the shorts, right?
That, and I think they've mastered the monetization.
Exactly. Monetization is a big part of it. I think even Facebook recently said that they're no longer be paying people for Reels.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
So, probably because there's no competition, right? If they feel like they're already gearing up for they're already expecting TikTok to be banned. So they're getting rid of a lot of those incentive for people to come to their platform because that might be the only choice at one point or at some point.
Yikes.
Yeah. So, but the main question I had after this is that from a Muslim perspective, because with TikTok's rise, like the Muslim community, I felt like also had like a big boom, or at least we felt like we were seeing a lot more, or like
it was just more easy, like you get more exposure.
Exactly. So my question was, how do you feel if TikTok was banned? How do you feel like it would affect the Muslim community as in general?
I mean, I think that it's kind of just like we're all just gonna have to migrate from one app to another. It's just like I don't think that Instagram has the same sort of format as TikTok in terms of like a For You page. Like, I know there's the Reels page where you can just scroll endlessly, and same thing with Shorts, but it's not the same. I feel like with Instagram and YouTube kind of give me the same vibe in terms of like you have your loyal followers and like those people want to know about your day-to-day whatever. TikTok is like you can really develop a community with people from like every inch of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And they could maybe see one video and then never see you again.
Mm-hmm.
Or they'll like once they see one video, they're hooked and like now they're following your every move, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think it's just a redirection.
So where do you think they would redirect to? There's no app right now that would do what TikTok does.
I know.
In terms of like serving up content, even no matter how small of a following you already have, to everyone.
I think it's going to be a redirection towards like maybe I feel like people are going to flock to Instagram first because almost everyone already has an Instagram account.
Mm-hmm.
But then when they realize like, you know what? Because I think YouTube Shorts is still on the come up. Like they're not actually there yet, right?
Yeah.
And I think once people discover that they can actually monetize their content and make more on there. But again, like if we're really going to talk about monetization.
Honestly, I feel like, sorry to cut you off there, but I feel like YouTube's actually doing it better than Instagram Reels.
No, Instagram has a little bit more like you have creative options. I think a little bit.
You're thinking about from the creative end. I'm thinking about from the algorithm end, from the users. People are gonna be using it.
Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah. When we're talking,
I don't care what the people are posting. They can, if they feel like the editing software is not good enough on there, they probably edit somewhere else and put it on there.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the like who it's being fed to.
I think YouTube could be. I think that like although a lot of a creative influencers like income would come from like sponsorships or brand deals, there's still the passive income through like views and stuff, and I think that you can genuinely maximize the most through YouTube Shorts.
Yeah. So that's where most of the content, I feel like, that's why I feel like it's gonna go there for the most part. But like
I think they're gonna first go to Instagram though. Because why? Because everyone already has an Instagram account.
I feel like Instagram isn't as big as you think it is.
Really?
Yeah, it's more of a millennial thing. I don't think Gen Z is really that much into Instagram. They're more into like either TikTok or YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I never really got that idea.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you see Gen Z on TikTok Instagram like that?
I'm not on Instagram as much because I'm on TikTok.
Exactly. So why would you go back to Instagram? Because Instagram already has like burned its relationship with its users to begin with.
Yeah.
So like people are already going to be like, okay, we're not going to go to Instagram. Instagram's like basically dead to us. So let's move on to like a platform that we feel like hasn't really burned as much, or at least we can benefit from it in some way.
You know, I was watching this interesting video on how Gen Z has shifted the Instagram vibe, because you know how like maybe like 4 or 5 years ago Instagram was all about like that perfectly curated feed. They have shifted the way that people use Instagram now, because it's no longer cool to have like a perfectly curated feed. Now, instead of having like all photos of like one theme, like black and white or whatever the theme that you want, they'll do like I think they're called carousels, where you post like 10 pictures at a time. Yeah. And it's just like random pictures, like very random, unedited, unfiltered. Yeah. Like, oh, here's a picture of my lunch yesterday, but then here's also a billboard that I saw that was cool. And then here's a cat that's on the street. And then here's a random selfie that's kind of blurry but not too clear, but it still looks cool anyways.
It's more of an aesthetic.
Shoes. Yeah, it's like Gen Z aesthetic, where it's like just not trying. You're not trying hard. Like, you're not trying hard. You're just, it's like, oh yeah, whatever. This is on my camera.
Now the cool thing is to not try.
Yeah. Yeah. This should have been cool a long time ago.
But then you realize that like a lot of those posts actually do take time and like effort to curate.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
I hate to admit this, but it's the millennials who try hard to be like Gen Z. It's so embarrassing, but like, sorry guys.
You can tell. You can tell someone's trying. Yeah.
When it's like so perfectly blurry. You're like, how'd you get it like that? And you realize they're taking it like this. Shaking their camera just to
you gotta do what you gotta do, okay?
It is what it is.
Stick with a young crowd. That's what it is, you know?
I love learning Gen Z lingo. I feel like we were talking about this yesterday, and it's just like...
What was the new one you learned?
Oh, what was it again?
Like bingo or something like...
the big brain one?
No, there's another one that you learned.
Oh, what was that again?
Oh my god.
It's gonna bother me.
It's okay. We're not gonna remember it later. Yeah.
Where's Kamal when you need her?
Exactly.
See, this is her chance to chime in. When she's listening to this, she's gonna be like, "I told you guys." Yeah. When we remember it, we'll bring it up. But okay. On to our.
We didn't even finish the topic.
Oh, sorry.
We're talking about
I'm sorry.
how it's gonna affect the Muslim community.
Yeah, I just think they're gonna migrate from TikTok.
Yeah. But like, okay, the thing I liked about TikTok because I felt like TikTok was a benefit to the Muslim community, but also a detriment.
Yeah.
One, because like as someone who also believes that's really important to like choose your teachers and like who you're getting your knowledge from very carefully. I felt like because anyone could blow up on TikTok, like there were people who were gaining larger followings who weren't really the best to be teaching and maybe didn't have the best aqidah. Like you can tell just from the things that they were saying and doing that they weren't the best guiders. They were more misguiders. Okay, I'm just saying. I'm not gonna say no names. Okay,
but I mean, we've talked about it before and it almost got canceled. But
yeah. But TikTok, that was a big thing.
Yeah.
But then again, you also saw that there were a lot of like people who first in the comments were being like, "Oh, this is making me interested in Islam," and like. And then later on you see a bunch of comments saying I've recently converted to Islam, especially when Ramadan was coming up. There were a lot of people saying, "Oh, this is my first Ramadan as a Muslim."
Did you see that one video?
What?
There was this Muslim guy who, I don't remember why, but he was sitting in his car and he was listening to Quran. And this like random lady, I don't want to assume that she was a crack addict.
Yeah.
But she just looked a little disheveled.
Yeah.
Something was off.
Yeah.
But she came to his window and he was like, "Can I help you?" And she's like, "What are you listening to?" He's like, "Oh, it's the Quran." And she's like, "Yo, turn it up. It's really peaceful." And then she stood there and listened to the Quran with him.
Oh, see, honestly, the Quran, just playing the Quran or even hearing the adhan, a lot of people are attracted to Islam just from that, right?
They feel this sense of like tranquility in their hearts.
Exactly. So, just people hearing that on TikTok, hearing the Quran for the first time, hearing the stories of the Prophet and how we deal with ourselves within Muslim communities has attracted a lot of people, and I feel like TikTok was a big help with that to get a lot of people their foot in the door, or at least their an idea of what Islam is, because you'll hear a lot of people who have no idea what Islam is, but because of TikTok and because it serves your content to anyone, no matter what they believe, who they are, or who they follow, then it at least gives them some idea of what it is, and then that can open a door to them eventually converting, which it did.
Yeah, but I don't like. I don't know. I think we're underestimating the power of social media. Just because TikTok is going to get banned doesn't mean that this is going to go like disappear.
Yeah,
they'll just and I'm telling you, Instagram will probably be the first that'll like get bigger than it is.
You know what? We'll put it up to the listeners, okay?
Yeah. What do you guys
feel
think?
If TikTok were to be deleted? Let us know. If you're a listener, let us know on like Instagram or whatever, or if you're on YouTube, let us know in the comments. Do you think that people will migrate to Instagram first, or will they go to YouTube? Because that's the two options I gave. Technically, there could be a third option where someone makes another app, but let's just say those are the two options now. Let us know, okay?
Yeah.
And so hopefully, I don't think it will be deleted. I'm on the side saying that it most likely won't be deleted. But there was a big scare there for a while. And honestly, I feel like they were just doing it for like political points.
Yeah.
Yeah. So recently there's been some controversy in the Muslim community because, so Gordon Ramsay has a show called Next Level Chef. And you know how a lot of times in those shows, they'll have like a secret ingredient that they don't know about ahead of time. So they lined them all up. And one of the contestants on that show was a Muslim girl named Mehreen Karim. And they found out that the ingredient was going to be alcohol. So I believe she didn't actually give any pushback at this point. She just cooked with the alcohol. I don't believe she even tasted it herself, and she served it up. And I believe she got praised for it and might have actually won for it. I can't remember if she won for it, but essentially she was like the Muslim representation on the show. And she also says herself that she's Muslim and like is that's an aspect of herself.
Oh, she like openly talks about
it.
Oh, okay.
So but there was a lot of controversy about this because of course everyone knows in Islam that we don't drink or consume alcohol anyway. And a lot of the times we don't even I think we mentioned it like a couple weeks ago. We don't even like play with the whole fact of like eating from dishes that alcohol initially was inside of it, but might have been cooked out of it because of the remnants that might still be in there.
Yeah.
But the controversy was that like, okay, you have a girl who's supposed to be representing Islam, but then she didn't give any like pushback or anything when she was given something that typically we wouldn't cook with, which is alcohol.
Right.
And there were a lot of people there were kind of two teams on this. There were people who were like praising the fact that she was even on the show to represent us, because she's also a Muslim brown girl, right? And then there's the other side being like, yeah, but you still cooked with alcohol, and that's not really the best representation for Muslims. And first off, I think I already know what your opinion was going to be on this, right? So if you found yourself in that situation, what would you do?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I would tell them, sorry, I can't use this.
Yeah, I think I would be on the same thing.
Like, I would just be like, I'll use an alcohol replacement, like vinegar or something. I don't know.
Exactly.
It might not have the exact same effect, but I'm not going to cook with alcohol.
Yeah. Because
why would I cook something I can't eat?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's where the controversy was, right? Because she's like, oh, you know what? I didn't taste it. I didn't do anything myself. Like, and she's telling people, I think she made a video afterwards. She's like, worry about yourselves, guys. And like, I did this thing. It might be considered wrong or whatever, but or it is considered wrong, but like, don't come after me for this. Like, this is my sin.
She defended herself?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So would you agree with that being like, oh, this is your sin? Like, she's like, it's okay that you're warning me about this, and maybe, sure, I did something wrong.
I actually respect that.
But don't come after me for it.
I think the fact that she acknowledged it and said, like, I know this is wrong, but I did it because I was on the show or whatever the case is, like, I respect that. But
the other side, I feel like
she's not encouraging people. She's telling them, like, I know it's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, she's not encouraged. Like, that's the thing.
But that's
right?
okay. Go ahead. Say your point.
I was just gonna say that's the thing about like this conversation that we've had a couple times now with different people who are, I don't even want to call them influencers anymore. Just people who are in the public eye, the spotlight, right? Like, at the end of the day, all of us will commit sins. Like, it's bound to happen, right?
Yeah.
And if you have some sort of influence or you're in the public eye where people are watching you, I you know what, my opinion has recently changed on this topic because I'm thinking about it this way. Unless you are a self-proclaimed influencer, sometimes it just happens, right? Like maybe you post recipes online and people are now looking up to you because they look to you for inspiration. And then let's say you decide as a Muslim chef that you want to cook with alcohol, and then you're now getting like hate for it or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you make a video and you're like, you know what, I know it's wrong. Please don't follow in my footsteps. Like, this is just something that I did to try it or whatever. I don't know. They try to justify it or whatever, but they acknowledge that it's wrong and they condone it. So they say, like, don't follow me, whatever. Then that's on them.
That's on who? That's on
the person who did it.
But the point here, like, I think what people are making a valid point is that, like, when you're on a stage like that and you're representing Muslims, when you do something like that, you're kind of setting a precedence, right? Because now other Muslim chefs who might be given like a similar opportunity, who then say like, oh, I don't cook with alcohol because I'm Muslim and like this is something against our beliefs, but then they'll point to her and be like, yeah, but she's also a Muslim and she did it with no issues. Why are you giving us pushback on this?
Because no two Muslims are the same. That's what I would say.
That's as we can say that because we're not ignorant to the situation. But like people who don't know anything about Muslims to begin with, like they're not going to see it like that. They're going to be like, oh, so like, are you really just giving us pushback? Are you trying to be difficult with us, basically?
No, not necessarily. Like, I think, you know what? Sometimes people become uncomfortable when you state your religious boundaries because they don't understand. When you don't understand, you retaliate or you get upset and there's confusion there. But when you explain to them, like, hey, in my religion, I don't consume alcohol, meaning I don't put it on me. Like, alcohol is considered najis. For those of you that don't know, najis is
najis,
it means filthy.
Yeah.
Like, is there?
Yeah, I guess so.
Like, how would you?
That's not like the best translation of it, but that's the closest we can think of. Right? Yeah,
like okay, I know. When you come into contact with something that is considered najis, you have to purify yourself.
Yeah.
That's
it's not purified. It's not pure. It's non-pure. Unpure.
Yeah. It's like non-pure.
Exactly.
But and so when you really break it down and you explain like, you know, because we don't consume alcohol, we also don't cook with it under any circumstances. And this is my religious belief and it's something that I'm not willing to compromise on. So either you accommodate my circumstance, or you don't, and I'm just gonna air you out, and then you're gonna be considered discriminatory.
But do you think that she had the responsibility to do that so she can set her precedence on the large stage? Because that's a big stage. That's on Gordon Ramsay's show. A lot of people are watching that, so it can set an idea and be like, oh, okay, yeah, Muslims, yeah, they cook with alcohol now.
Ideally, yeah, I would love for it would have been great representation,
exactly,
for her to on the show explain it in this way, but she didn't, and there comes that question of like, well, you know, are all Muslims expected to be the spokesperson for Islam? Like, everyone's has their own struggles and they're working through it. Like, is everyone expected to be that example? Is everyone expected to put their best foot forward? At the end of the day, we spoke about this last week in our episode, but everything that you do, all of your intentions should be for the sake of Allah only, right? And so, like, that's between her and God. She wants to cook with alcohol, that's up to you. She chose not to consume it, okay, but she still served it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just because we don't consume, if you're gifted a bottle of rosé, you're like, well, I'm not going to drink it, so I'm going to give it to my neighbor. You're still sinful because now you're giving them something to drink. Yeah. So ideally, yeah, it would have been so nice. I think a lot of people would have been really happy if she did that. Yeah. Like, if she, sorry, I gave no context. If she said, I'm not going to cook with the alcohol, but she chose not to. She chose to do it. Yeah. So.
Okay. Yeah. Because unfortunately it is a normalized thing now. And maybe that's why she didn't really feel like it was a big deal.
Sorry, what's normalized?
The idea that people will serve things that would be najis or sinful for us to eat or consume. Just without them having to consume it themselves. Like you see that a lot now. Like you see Muslims working in places where they might serve pork and they have to, and they do it, or they don't have to do it, but they do it. But they're I guess counter that as being like, but I'm not eating it myself. Yeah. And it is normalized now. I know it's a deeper issue, but it's something maybe we can get into one day.
May Allah help us.
Exactly.
I don't know how else to say that, but
that's just something to think on. Let us know in the comments what you think about that situation.
You feel like if you were in that situation, you wouldn't do it?
Oh yeah, right? For sure, 100%. I wouldn't wait a second before saying that.
Oh, you wouldn't wait a second?
Yeah, I would immediately be like, either kick me off or I'm not. Give me another option, kind of thing.
Even if cooking was your dream, this was your dream, everything you've ever worked for in life came down to this moment. Yeah. Because that's the whole oh no, I can't use that example actually. Dang. All right. So should we just jump into the
into the next thing?
So this week's theme is the phrase Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. The direct meaning is praise be to Allah, the Lord of the universe, or the Lord of the worlds. And so we, you confirmed with me. So I want to know, before we kind of get into breaking it down.
Yeah, but actually I'm going to cut you off there a little bit.
Go ahead.
When she says get into it, she means a full-on essay that she wrote before this, okay, guys? So just get ready for her to be looking down at her life.
Listen, okay?
Reading off of this thing.
I was preparing my notes and I didn't realize how much I was writing, and then I stopped and I'm like, oh my god, it's 1:20, I need to go. Yeah. So I texted Amir, I'm like, all right, I kind of got carried away and I didn't realize how much I was writing. And he's like, oh no, the more points the better. I'm like, no, I wrote a page and a half.
I wasn't expecting that. Okay.
Really?
No. It's 2 pages.
Yeah, it kind of was 2 pages.
Okay, what were you gonna ask me again?
I was going to ask you, when would you typically use the phrase Alhamdulillah or Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen? When would you typically use that?
I probably use that in conversation. No lie, I probably sometimes say it at least 20 times. I think everyone does. It's just now it's almost like not a tick, but it's almost like second nature.
Not you saying comparing it to a tick. What?
No, but usually it's the first thing that comes out, which is a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Like when someone asks you, "Oh, how are you doing?" It's like Alhamdulillah, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, so how's your family doing? Alhamdulillah. Your mom, Alhamdulillah. Your dad, Alhamdulillah. It's like, oh, your sister's, yeah, she's doing there. She's like, you know, she's doing her thing. It's like, she's doing good, Alhamdulillah.
You literally, I actually put it in like, you use it to express gratitude during the good times.
Yeah.
And you use it to express patience during the bad times.
Exactly.
And so I kind of just want to break down, like, there generally are two different ways to express thankfulness to Allah. And one is the obligatory thankfulness. Then there's the other one, which is the recommended thankfulness, right? So what Amir was saying, where you're kind of just like verbally expressing gratefulness to God, is the recommended thankfulness, right? Because you're saying praise be to God for like my endowments or whatever situation you're in, right? And it's usually the one who Allah has guided and who has enlightened his heart with the proper belief. Those are the ones that are expected to be. Everyone should be expected to be thankful towards God, but the ones who are enlightened and the ones who are guided are the ones that have that thankfulness. But as we said, there are the two types. And so when we're talking about the obligatory thankfulness, we actually spoke about this a little bit last week, but
Did we?
yeah, I remember mentioning it. I didn't realize that we were going to talk about it again this week, but here we go. So the obligatory thanking is basically meaning when people refrain using the bounties that are granted to them by Allah in disobeying him. So among the bounties or the blessings that are given to us, the endowments that are given to us are our body parts, right? So for example, our body parts, and the money that we have, our wealth. For example, like we shouldn't be using, one should be thankful towards Allah with the endowment of the tongue by refraining from uttering sinful words, like saying, bad words or gossiping or lying, etc. And one would be thankful towards Allah for their hearing by using your ears to avoid listening to like sinful matters. So listening to gossip, listening to music, listening to swear word, I don't know, bad words, bad conversations. Similarly with the eyes, your thankfulness to Allah for your sight by not viewing the haram, unlawful things that you shouldn't be looking at. And then when it comes to money and your wealth, which is the biggest one, I think. Yeah, you express thankfulness to Allah with your wealth by not spending it on sinful matters, but also not earning it from a sinful way, a sinful source. And so it's really important to learn. It's really important to learn the rules of dealings and transactions, buying and selling, because a lot of times, we're going about our day to day and we're doing, how many times are we buying things? Are we selling things, especially with like Facebook Marketplace, and you're selling things online? Like, you really, as Muslims, we really need to like preserve our faith and be very careful with what we do, in order to like really be doing these transactions in a lawful way. As for the recommended thankfulness, it's done by using your tongue, like literally uttering Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, to thank Allah Azza wa Jal for the bounties that were granted to us without him being obligated to do so. And so, why, like the question that I want to ask you and that I kind of want to answer is like, why is thanking Allah and being grateful to Allah so important to Muslims, would you say? Why is it so important? Yeah. I think we mentioned last week, like there's so many things we are blessed with, or like we were given so many endowments. Yeah. The abilities, I guess. Yeah, exactly. That like you should be thankful for that, just for the ability to be able to like wake up and like go and have the ability to go and work and make money, or like the ability to see, hear, like all the things that you're mentioning there, just the ability to be able to do those things. You should you would be thankful for those things, right? Yeah. Especially when you're given examples of people who don't have those things, that's when you're extra thankful, right? That's why usually when people see other people who can't see or who can't hear, like, or any other disability, like usually that's when they get the most thankful, or then they're reminded of the things that they should be thankful for, right? Actually, on that note, because I did make a point for this answer,
Mm-hmm.
was I was gonna say, like, I feel like in today, like, I think comparison has always been around, but in today's day and age,
Mm-hmm.
because social media is so like prevalent, it's so easy to compare yourself to somebody else that's posting online, right? Like, people love sharing their blessings online for many different reasons, whether it's to get monetization or they just want to share their good news, you know, like people, like something good happens to you and your first instinct naturally is to tell people around you, right? And so people are posting like, okay, I bought a new car, or I got a really good job, got a new house, got married, have a new kid, and people are posting online for millions, if not billions, of people to watch and consume that content all over the world. And you don't know the situation of people around the world. There could be someone who maybe their life isn't going so great, and now they're on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, scrolling through, and they see, oh, this person got married, but I'm single and I'm alone and I'm like really sad.
Yeah.
And now they're comparing themselves. And you know what they're doing in this case? Because they're comparing themselves and they're seeing that you have something that they don't have, they're forgetting their thankfulness, because now they're feeling like they're longing for that. They want something that they don't have. Or, you know, like I'm sure you've heard of that saying, comparison is a thief of joy. And so I remember like a very long time ago, I learned this from one of my teachers, where the teacher said, when you're looking to someone else and you're looking at the blessings that they have in this dunya, in this world, you should never look down upon yourself and say, I want what they have. Rather, you should look at those who don't have what you have, like that don't have, for example, a roof over their head. Maybe they're homeless, or they don't have a job, or they don't have working legs, they don't have eyes, or whatever. They don't have the vision that you have. They're lacking what you have, and so you should never look up at someone who has more than you, but you should look.
You know what's funny about that point you're making? I forget which video it was recently that I saw, but they were talking to a poor person, or someone from like a war torn or war torn country where like basically they're poor, they don't know if they're gonna have food the next day, they don't have a roof over their head. And that person they were speaking to was actually like, we actually feel bad for you guys, for the people in the West. I think actually it was a girl who was coming over for like, you know, aid, like they're giving food out and like helping that, and they said they actually felt bad for us because like they're being tested every day by Allah, right? They don't know what they're gonna have the next day, but they always still have the trust in Allah, right?
Listen, a lot of the inhabitants of Jannah are going to be the poor people.
Exactly.
The less you have, the less... What's the word in English?
Just say it in Arabic.
It's not. It's in Gaysinan.
Oh, say it in Gaysinan. Say it in Gaysinan.
Like the less chinky you have, the less worries you have.
Yeah, there
the less,
you go.
that's what it is. The less you have, because like if you know, like you only have in your belongings, you only have 5 things. You only have to worry about these 5 things.
Yeah.
Listen, I said it before, I'm going to say it again. Biggie once upon a time said,
oh my God.
The more money you have, the more problems you have. Literally, more money, more problems. Like that's just the way that life is.
Yeah.
More money means more responsibility. More responsibility means more risk. More risk means more problems, because things can go wrong. So
also more money means like more temptation, more test to
yeah,
see what you're going to do with, like if Allah is giving you all of these things, your test is what are you going to do with this, right?
Exactly.
So like it's less apparent to us of how we're being tested, because back like that woman who was talking, it's more apparent, it's more in their face of what they're being tested with, right? The hardships they have are literally like, what am I going to eat tomorrow? Like where am I going to sleep? All those things. But for us, if we have all those things already, like you have to think about what is, because Allah is testing all of us.
Yeah.
So now you have to think about what are we being tested with right now?
Yeah.
Right. So, but when you start to think of it even deeper, then you start realizing like, oh, like now I've been given all this wealth. It's like, how am I spending this wealth, right? So you're gonna be asked about this in the future. So, yeah, that's why it was interesting when you were going down that path where you're talking about like how those people who we should be looking to are the ones who actually feel bad for us.
Subhanallah, that's wild that she even like was able to make that connection. But yeah, like to finish the point that I was saying was, what I had learned was, you should never be envious of those that have more than you, but rather you should look at those who have less than you, and you should be grateful for what you do have, because that'll remind you when you look and you see, you know, someone doesn't have as much as you have, you're grateful for, like, you end up feeling more wealthy because you're like, wow, I have this and I have this and I have this and I have this, and I'm still trying to be ungrateful. You know what I mean? And then to finish that point, the teacher said, but when it comes to the deen aspect, the religious knowledge, your iman, you should always look to those that have more than you, those who have more knowledge, those who can read the Quran better, those who pray more, and you should feel that motivation to be like them.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was like, wow, what a contrast in the way that we view the dunya versus like the things that benefit your akhirah, you know?
There's actually, I saw another video where you think like having sight and hearing and being able to speak, like these are blessings, but I believe they were speaking to like a blind man, and he was actually grateful for the fact that Allah made him blind, because he's like, now I have one less thing to worry about that will testify against me on the day of judgment, right? Exactly. That was his thinking, right? Because he doesn't have to worry about his sight, what he's looking at or anything like that, because it's one less thing for him to worry about. So he's actually grateful for the fact that he was made blind by Allah. So
he probably said Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, even the things that we may consider to be considered a hardship, blessings, can be actually work against you. Yeah, like having these hands, like they can be both blessings, but also if you don't do the right things with them, they're gonna speak against you on the day of judgment, right? So you have to be very careful about that.
In case y'all didn't know, your body parts are going to testify against you.
Exactly.
So, be careful of what you're doing with them. But I also want to kind of touch upon this because I know I just kind of just briefly said something right before my point about sharing things online and posting your blessings online. Now, I feel like we're in this day and age where oversharing is normal. Like if you don't overshare, you almost come across as like disingenuous, And so I'm thinking like, okay, you know what? Like we just spoke about this point before, but like the fact that TikTok built such a strong, like you're able to form communities online with a bunch of strangers, but at the same time, we're also fueling the narrative of comparison, right? Like we're giving people the opportunity to critique our every move. We're giving people the opportunity to listen. You could be inflicted with evil eye. I always go like, this is something that I've noticed recently, but like, for example, like people will get married or they do their nikah or something and they post like a quick video on TikTok or something. Yeah. And I don't know if you've ever like looked at the comments, but it's like a very like healthy mix of like the the usual like mashallah, tabarakallah, like Allahumma barak, whatever. Like they'll have all the dua that's there, but then there's also a bunch of comments that are like, when is it going to be my turn? I'm going to go sleep on the highway tonight. Oh yeah, sliding down the wall, screaming and crying, or whatever those comments are. And like at first I thought those comments were funny, but then I'm like, oh my God, like there are so many people that like want what you have. And on one hand it's like, okay, we need to think good of our Muslim brothers and sisters, but you don't have control over who watches your content. Yeah, like it could be anyone. It could be someone who's envious of you, someone who could give you the eye, you know what I mean? Like the way that like I feel like as I kind of like grow and like the way that I'm understanding social media, it makes me a little bit more wary to even share things, which is almost hypocritical because we're obviously on social media, but what we're doing is in a controlled environment, right? Like we're not posting necessarily about our lives here and there. We're speaking to you guys and sharing our thoughts on certain things. But when I'm really kind of focusing on like just sharing your blessings. Like if Amir was to get a new car, I doubt you would even post it online. Yeah, I would probably forget before even. I'll probably be like, oh, I should post this online, and then just forget to do it later. Yeah, like he might just tell like close friends, or like if we see it type of thing. Yeah. But like I just feel like, I don't know, like I don't know if we're moving toward, like, especially as the Muslim community, like how do you guys feel? Do you feel like we're kind of sort of moving towards like people are more cognizant of the evil eye being a thing, and so maybe they're like, I've noticed a lot of people are like hiding faces now, like they don't really show their kids' faces or even their spouses' faces or their own. Yeah, people are really moving away from that, but they're still somehow posting content. Like how do you feel? Do you think that like we're moving towards like the type of Islamic or Muslim inspired content where people are being weary now about? People are definitely getting a lot more weary now about what they're posting. Like even people who were on the not the opposite end,
But like I think that girl Lena Hadid, something like that. The girl who works out on Instagram, on TikTok.
Well, the one that we've both spoken about.
Yeah, Lena Deeb. I think that's her name. But even her, like before, she was like wearing all Gymshark, like it showed a lot of skin.
Oh yes. I
but
saw
even
that.
herself has like moved to, because she started growing closer to her dean. Like she started covering up a lot more.
Yeah.
She stopped using music in her TikTok posts and stuck to like more nasheed or just beats. So like the whole Muslim community in general, I do feel is moving towards that. I don't know. I feel like they're kind of, it'll kind of like go to somewhere in more of a moderate sense. Because I feel like if you're going to a level where you're doing things that were like, I want to be online, but like I also don't want to be
private but not secretive.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, it's like, do you really need to post it at that point? I don't know.
I
know what I'm saying?
I know. I get what you, it's like when people post like their kid, but they put a thing emoji over them.
Yeah.
Like, why are you posting it then?
Exactly. If you're being cognizant of it, just don't post it.
Yeah, like.
But you know, everybody kind of still wants to share it because they have family and friends who still follow them.
So send them a text.
Huh?
Send them a text.
It's probably easier to just put it on social media. No.
Look, I really go back and forth on this topic.
Yeah,
because
that's why I'm even for me, it's hard for me to say because even I go back and forth on it too.
Yeah,
right?
like, and I know sometimes like people will watch our videos and like 1 week we speak on one topic, the next week we speak on something else, and they call us hypocrites for it. But like, like we're human beings, our minds change weekly.
Yeah.
Like every week that we're learning something new, we change our outlook on life and our perception on certain things. But when it comes to social media, like I remember there was a time where I like felt the need to like post like, oh, we're going to a nice restaurant, I'm gonna post it. We're hanging out with our friends, I'm gonna post it. We're doing this, I'm gonna post it. And you know, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like that serotonin boost that you get when
definitely you know, that's what it is. You literally broke it down to what it really is. It's the serotonin you get from it, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't want to admit it,
yeah.
but like everybody does get a little bit of that like nice feeling.
No, I get anxiety when I post something. I like avoid Instagram completely.
Yeah, but then once you see the reaction afterwards, that's when the serotonin hits, right? That's when you get the hit. Because when you see, oh, it was good, it was successful, then you get that hit. So
when you break it down like that.
Yeah, so that's what everybody's kind of like searching for. That's why those people who do still post, even though they're covering up and doing as much as they can to cover up, I think it's because they still get a little bit of that connection and that serotonin with it, right? So, you know, it's human. It's, you know,
it's their compromise. It's their boundary. And
exactly.
You know, I just.
And also a second part of that is the fact that I mentioned where like family and friends are also watching you. So you kind of want to share with them as well. But also the people who a lot of times who are covering like that also feel like maybe it's because they don't have a community themselves where they are. So they feel like by posting, they're connecting with a larger community out there and finding friends who are actually good for them. Because maybe where they live, they're like the only Muslim who's there. So when they post, they are able to connect with the other Muslims around the world who make them feel like they're more part of the community.
Yeah, and you know, for that reason.
So I'm literally going against what I just said earlier.
but this is what I'm saying. Like we go back and forth because
exactly.
when you're considering both sides of the thing, like I totally get that. But then I also have this point here that says your blessing still exists even if you're not posting it online to prove it to others.
Yeah.
Like it's literally like you got married, mashallah, congratulations. You're still going to be married if you don't tell your Instagram followers. Inshallah, anyways, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like I really go back and forth. Like, because I get it. Like on one hand, let's say you've built this community of people. And so like these people support you. They love you, whatever. You guys share ideas. And you have this big news, whatever the case is. It doesn't have to be marriage. It could be anything. And so you want to share it because these people love you, you love them, and so you post it online. But if let's say you have a public page, it's not just them who's going to consume that content. You don't have control of where it's going to be sent to. It's going to be screenshot. It could go anywhere, right? Especially
as long as what you're
TikTok.
posting is not like doesn't put you in a negative light, I think you should be okay.
No, but like for example, Amir, like there are so many people who, and I've seen this on TikTok a lot, where they'll post like they got a new car and it's a really nice car and they're so excited and so they're sharing it. They're doing a car tour. Yeah. Here's all the new things I bought for my car. 2 weeks later, they get into a really bad accident. And the car. But
that's like an example that you typically wouldn't see in the Muslim community because I'm everything you're talking about. At least everything we're talking about, I feel like is related to the Muslim community or at least Muslim online community.
Well, evil eye is not specifically for Muslims. It could happen to anyone.
Yeah, but I don't usually see like other Muslims posting about, oh, I got a nice new car, that kind of thing. Do they?
Yeah, Muslims love to post about marriage.
Yeah, that's the main thing, really.
That's the biggest blessing for them.
Marriage or kids. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm not saying don't post in any way whatsoever. I think, to each their own. If you want to post.
You might be a car guy. Honestly, you might just be a car guy who likes cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you? I wouldn't discourage someone from posting something like that if they like that thing to begin with, right?
And that's the thing, right? Like, I'm not necessarily discouraging you. I'm just saying, like.
See?
It's hard. I don't know. Pick and choose what you want to post. All I'm saying is, at the end of the day, like, when it comes to, because we got to circle this back to being thankful and being grateful to Allah, right? And I'm just thinking about it in this sense. It's like, and it's not okay. I need to organize my thoughts because I have so much going on. It's like racing in my head right now. If I have a blessing and I want to share with my followers and I post it, that's one thing, right?
Yeah.
But let's say there's someone who maybe doesn't even follow me but came across my content and they're like, I want what's hers. I want that for myself. I could, without even knowing and without that person even knowing, could be inflicted with evil eye, and then my blessing is now taken away from me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so...
But isn't that the risk that you're willing... If you're going to post it, that's like the risk you're willing to take.
Yeah. And I think that's ultimately what I'm trying to get at is like, just know that it exists. Maybe make your tahseen and ask for protection from Allah. Like, at the end of the day, not everyone's going to be happy for you. Not everyone's going to love you. Not everyone's going to like you. But you want to post your blessings, post it. You want to post your happiness, post your happiness. Like, it is what it is. But just know that, like, you don't have control unless you have like a private page, whatever. Do what you want with your page.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of just what, like, I know that sounds so like all over the place. And, anyone who follows me on Instagram, they're like, well, you post. And I'm like, yeah, maybe like once or twice a year. And it's like random photos that I have that I'm like, oh, I want to, like, for me, I feel like I made my Instagram because I use my Instagram and even my Facebook at the time when I was still using it. I use it as like a visual diary, like my own memories. I feel like I stalk myself the most because I like to look back. I'm a very nostalgic person. I like to look back on photos. I'm like, this is a fun trip, or like, this was such a fun time. But then I kind of went through this phase where I was like, I don't know if I really want like my face out there all the time. Like, I'm already on like the podcast. Like, that's enough. You know, that's a controlled thing. But I feel like sometimes when you post too much of your stuff online, you can just feel it. Like, you feel uneasy. I don't know. I just feel like I feel uneasy because
it depends on the person.
Yeah, it depends on the person.
Yeah,
it really
some
does.
people just like doing that.
Yeah, and that's
some people make careers out of it.
I mean, I know. And that's the thing, right? Like, if that's what you want to do, like, I'm not discouraging you in any way. I'm just saying this is how I feel for me.
Because I think as long as the person's willing to accept the risks that come with that, then do you. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to tell anyone to not do something as long as their intentions are pure, I guess. Because like, if your intentions are like just for like praise and like making yourself look better than someone else, then okay, that's kind of weird. But for the most part, people are posting because just it makes them feel good, or they feel like they want to share with their friends and family or people that are now following them because they feel like they influence them. That's why we always talk about like, make sure that like, if you have a following, like, be careful of like how you're influencing them, or like what you're putting out there, because you never know how you might influence someone to do like a sin or something that's not right, and then you also get that on you. Because I believe if you inspire someone or help someone commit a sin, then you also take that as well. So but as long as you're being careful about that.
Moral of the story, just stay off social media.
Nah, don't stay off social media. Subscribe.
But yeah, so I mean, that's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like I just went all over the place with that. But like, hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from and what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm not saying I'm never going to post online.
How did we get on this again?
Because we were talking about how I was asking why...
What?
Why thanking Allah and being grateful is important.
What?
That's how it started.
And then we went all the way to there? Yeah.
I don't know.
And we were all over the place because we don't have a defined thought on this.
Yeah, we go back and forth on it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what you guys think about it though. But like at the end of the day, to circle back to that question of why it's so important. At the end of the day, being grateful for what you have kind of limits, I don't want to say prevents completely, but it limits the ungratefulness, right? Because when you're ungrateful and you're resentful even because you don't have certain things, then you're just living a life of like ungratefulness. You're not happy. You're not content in your life. And I think, why would you bother yourself by always wanting more? But again, that's human nature, right? The grass is always greener on the other side, as they say. But it's so funny. I just thought of
what?
I just thought of a lyric. It's like, well, they say the grass is greener on the other side, but it's green where you water it.
Is that a Taylor Swift song?
No, it's actually Big Sean.
Oh my god.
Astaghfirullah. Not in Ramadan.
Exactly. This girl.
It just popped into my head.
Hey, we're not all perfect, okay?
But anyway,
sometimes they lines, they be hit.
It's the lyrics. The lyrics. But anyways, I think the importance behind it is ultimately it's always going to be a reminder to be the best Muslim that you can be, right? Like it all kind of goes back to fulfilling your obligations, avoiding, the prohibited things, and just doing the best that you can, right? None of us are perfect. And I don't even know if we can even say like you have to strive for perfection. But at the end of the day, just do the best that you can. Ask your Lord for help. Ask your Lord to, keep you on the straight path. And just, take it from there. And I know we spoke about like wealth as being one of the endowments that we're blessed with.
Yeah.
This is the perfect opportunity this month where your rewards are multiplied by God knows how many times. We don't know. It could be multiplied by 10 times, it could be multiplied by 100 times, it could be multiplied by 1,000,000 times. Allahu A'lam. But take advantage of this month. Donate. It doesn't even have to be money. Don't when you are invited to someone's house and you know that they're making food for you and you're like, you know what, let me just buy them a cake.
Yeah.
Make the intention that you're donating it lillahi ta'ala and then you get rewards.
You know what's funny? The other day, someone posted about like donating to some cause. And I was like, okay, I'll donate, I'll give like $50 or whatever. And you know how they say when you like donate, like you get it back tenfold. Literally like the next day after I donated, I got like a random check in the mail for like $250.
Really?
Yeah, of like, hey, we did your taxes wrong and like here's your money back or whatever.
Oh.
So literally like the day after I just donated $50, I got like 5 times that back basically.
It's subhanallah, it's actually so like crazy to me when I think about like, sometimes when you're being asked to donate and you're like, I only have $300 in my checking. It's like, all right, fine, here's $150.
Yeah.
And then you don't even like the way that God works, subhanallah, like you don't even know where it's gonna come from, but it's gonna come back. Like you're not just gonna get 150 back. It's gonna come back like you said, like tenfold. And you're like, whoa. And sometimes you don't even realize like, oh, it's because I donated that one time. But like later on, like they say hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah.
And you're like, yo, remember that one time I donated 150? Like that was literally half of what I had, and I got back like 3 times more or whatever the case is. So y'all donate for the sake of Allah. Do it. I wonder if we have any like
what
things that we could post, any links of like what to donate to, because I know people might ask.
If we find something by the time we post this video, we'll put them in the comments.
I'll do some research and I'll look for different organizations that are fundraising this Ramadan.
I'm sure like Islamic Relief.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Islamic Relief does one. I'm pretty sure Aisha's working with them.
Exactly. Yeah, she's also working with someone.
Yeah, so we'll find a couple links. You can pick and choose, or you can do a little bit to all of them. And you know what? Donations don't have any limits. Like you could do $1 and it's still rewardable if you were to do $100. Like it really, it's anything that you can. Even a smile is considered charity. Smile to your Muslim brothers and sisters. And that feeling of like, if someone smiled at you, aren't you just like, oh, okay. Like you feel nice. And because you made someone else feel good about themselves, that's a sense of donation. Give them a date. It's a form of donation. Like, I'm talking about the date that you eat, by the way. Okay. But I just like, I don't know. I just feel like use this month to its full potential. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the word. I thought you had it already.
No, I was like, what's the word I'm trying to use?
Oh my God.
But yeah, inshallah, the rest of this month is going to be a blessed one for all of us. I don't know if you wanted to add another point. Before.
No, I'll keep that for next week. It's all good. Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, we're good. Don't worry about it.
Okay. I guess I'll close it out here. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of the Cousin Connection Pod. You know what to do. Don't forget to subscribe. Inshallah, we will hit 3,000 subscribers by next week or by the time this is posted.
Yeah. And I know we talked about like, social media, bad, blah, 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 all that stuff. You know what? As long as you have good intentions and you hope to benefit the community, it's perfectly fine. Do what you want to do, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the ultimate point I want to say there, okay?
Also, I just want to say, oh, God.
Don't worry about it. I need to put some
rusty.
WD-40 on there.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna fully embrace my abaya girl dreams this month. I wish I was in a Muslim country. Like I don't know if you like. Okay, before we actually end, I'm gonna go on a quick tangent. Do you have this same feeling of like sometimes when you're like getting dressed to go to work or wherever you're going, and you're like, I wish I was in a Muslim country so I could just wear like a jalebi all the time?
Yeah, I saw like a post recently from like I think it's like Sacred Footsteps or something, where there's a dude they're following in Turkey, or the guy was in Turkey, and I was like, yo, I would like move now if I could live in Turkey with no issues, just have a job there ready and everything. Turkey would be like the spot. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, or like a Muslim country in general. I think it's just because he made Turkey look so nice. Yeah. And like the mosque there, he made the mosque already look like beautiful, right? Yeah. But the way he shot it and all the cats, like I love cats to begin with. So just
Turkey
that.
Was a dream.
Yeah. Like maybe hopefully they still have the post there. If they do, I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
But like it just made me want to like just like have a nice little place in the corner, like right next to a mosque. But yeah, living in a Muslim country would be like ideal.
Yeah. Like I know one of my friends, Hanan's Corner. So she's in Dubai right now, and I just saw this on her story like earlier today, where she was outside like by the water in Dubai, and you can hear the Quran being recited during like Tarawih prayers, like just out in the open because it's on a speaker. And I was like, my heart longs to be in a country or a city like that. Like it's just so different. I think growing up in the West, like you could probably we could wear abaya here. And it's fine, but like you still get stares.
It's being normalized, so
it is, but it's not the same.
Yeah,
unless you're like living in a Muslim community area, so like everyone's wearing it, or you go to the mosque, then it's fine, it's whatever. But like it's not the same. Yeah, I can't go to work in a nice abaya, and like people are gonna look at me like, "Yo, you good?"
We'll talk about that next week. We'll see about that.
No, but yeah, we'll leave it on that note. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you always. Hopefully by the time you're listening to this, you're either breaking your fast, or if you're fasting, you only got a little bit more left to go. I hope. I don't know, but yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.